I remember when I was in jail, a lot of us guys, you get in jail and you start doing Bible study and going to church call and everything. And we'd be talking about how much time we were facing, and we'd all kind of sit there and look at each other and say, well, that's just my cross to bear. We would talk like it was some great spiritual exercise for us to be going through what we were going through. And it's funny looking back at it now, but I hear people say things like that, and I get to saying things like that all the time when things are not going my way, or I'm dealing with some consequences of behavior. Maybe I'm dealing with consequences of things that I've done years ago, and I kind of over spiritualize it and say, well, it's just my cross to bear. It's the consequences of my own behavior. It's the consequences of my own action. There's nothing spiritual about that. That's not some sort of great endeavor for me to suffer for my own faults. Peter in his epistle, he said something similar. He says, if you're buffeted for your own faults, well, what is that? I mean, what's special about that? That you're suffering for your own faults. But when you suffer unjustly, God sees that, and he's pleased with that. Jesus suffered unjustly. He was someone that could honestly and truly say that I have done nothing wrong. I am not in the wrong here. But he didn't revile them back. Actually, it says, when he was reviled, he reviled not again. He opened not his mouth. He didn't stand up and say, you know what? You're wrong, Pharisee, Mr. Person. I'm the one that's completely in the right here. You can't treat me this way. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who my dad is? See, he didn't do that. And he was well within his right to do it. He just kept his mouth shut and endured it. And, if we are suffering unjustly, that's what God calls us to do. Not enjoy it, or not to, look really sad and pious to everyone around us, but to endure it, and to endure it patiently, because he has had to do things just like that. So if you're dealing with some consequences today, step back and kind of let your emotions cool down a little bit. Take an honest look at them and say, are these consequences of my own actions? Have I done something that has made this happen? If so, then that's not your cross to bear. That's just some consequences that you got to deal with. And even in the consequences of our own actions, even in dealing with consequences that we've earned, okay, are just rewards. God is so loving, patient, and kind that he is still faithful to comfort us in that. He's faithful to bring us through that, and we earned it. It's not something that's a demonic attack. It's just stuff that we earned, and are just rewards. And he's still faithful to comfort us even in that. Why? Because he's good. Because he's good, and he has our best interest at heart. He has your best interest at heart. So why not trust him today? And it makes these consequences a little easier to bear. But just remember, your consequences are not your cross.